Yeah.
Okay.
You ready, Diane?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay, John.
All right. Good evening, folks. This is the Board of Public Works meeting for Monday, May 8, 2023. We have an appointment at 6:15, abatement issue, Diane Butler. She here? So we'll hold on that then. Action items, reorganization of positions, Board of Public Works after town elections. New Stepford Hauler permit, Flowmaster Corporation. Article 14, irrigation system, that's for the veterans. God bless them. Abatement, financial hardship guidelines effective 5/8/2023. Trash carts, we have for discussion, so I'm not going to bring it up with actions for a vote tonight. So we'll move that, it's in discussion.
We actually had that, I listed it both places
Is it
in case we
both?
didn't want to take action, we could just do discussion, but I have a motion for the board.
Well, we're not going to vote on that. You have it in both places.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm moving it from action to discussion. And we're going to bypass trash cans. We don't have enough information.
Okay.
Restricted water use. That's something to do with the bylaw. When we have an emergency, a drought action. Roadway management contract, South Shore Consortium, extension of wastewater treatment, residue transportation and disposal contract. We have a Brant Rock Seawall Repair Project Contract 2023-05 change order. Discussion, town pier, boat pumping and sewer system. Forensic audit. Trash carts discussion. Vote to accept minutes 4/18/23 and 4/24/23 of the meeting minutes. Under the superintendent's report, we have Plymouth Ave pump station update, seawall update, Surf Ave update, and paving. Our next meeting is May 22nd. Before we start, I'd like to introduce Miss Diane Jordan, is our newest board member. And I know she's going to do well. All right, so,
Mr. Chairman,
yes, sir.
can we, after you redo your reorganization, can we take the discussion of trash carts out of order?
Sure. Okay.
Point of order. You have to ask for a second, accept the agenda. You haven't done that.
Yeah, you're right. You've got to give me a chance.
Okay.
So who's going to second? You want to second that?
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thanks, Bob. The abatement issue, Diane Butler? She's not here.
It was at 6:15, John.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. If she's not here, we can still discuss that?
I don't believe so. I think she needs to be present in order
Okay,
to
well, if she's
make
not
her
here,
argument.
okay, if she's not here, then we'll just have it for the next
Yes.
meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll wait. If she does show up, we'll just make an opportunity for her to speak. Okay.
Excuse me, sir, could you just speak up a little bit so we can hear you?
I'm sorry. Okay. You want to go to trash carts?
Yeah, once you reorganize.
Okay. Yes, we've got to reorganize. Yeah, that's true. Reorganization. So I'll make a motion to appoint John Cusick, myself, as the chair. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Aye.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to appoint Mr. Robert Shanley as the vice chair of the Board of Public Works. Do I have a second?
No.
Shaughnessy.
It's Shaughnessy, not Chandler.
Pardon me, son.
That's okay.
Mr. Shaughnessy as the vice chair.
Vice chair.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're going to reorganize the clerk for the Board of Public Works, and I nominate Miss Diane Jordan Do I have a second?
Your second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Welcome aboard, Diane.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so are we okay? We can go to trash cards? Can you?
Before we go into trash cards, I would like to recognize Dave Carrier, who was on the board for the last 4 years, who was a former superintendent of public works, who was a staff engineer for many years, working for the town, who has done a lot for this town. And that, although it's nice that the new change, Dave really put his heart and soul into what he did as superintendent, as a staff engineer, and also for the last 4 years as the board of public works. He's really focusing on energy, solar power. When he was superintendent, we bought him a Patuxent Woods that protected our water supply, which was a major threat of 40 feet. The board worked with Dave, and they want to make sure that he gets recognition that he's properly doing. Lately, he's been really focused on, the new building up at Plain Street, and which he spent a lot of time doing so. And he really cares about this town, and also the forever chemicals that are happening in this town. He was doing all kinds of research to protect our water supply. So I would like to make a motion to ask the superintendent to send a letter over to selectmen to do what they normally do with some people who go off a board, to recognize that person for their due diligence and their duty of service to Marshfield. So I'd like to make a motion to direct the superintendent to do so to the selectmen, so that he can either be honored at a selectmen's meeting or at the fall town meeting. Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Unanimous.
John?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, John.
Thank you, Bob. Okay, we're on to trash cards.
Okay,
Okay. That would be under 5, huh?
all right, so I have Todd Pep here with me. He's from the DEP. Since most of my presentation was stolen from his presentation, I thought I'd bring him along to get his opinion out there too. So Marshfield's existing trash collection program, I think we all know, we have, the program is for one resident-provided 35-gallon trash barrel or a bag of trash per week. And then we have the town-provided recycle barrels, a 64-gallon recycle barrel per week. Any trash that you can't fit into your existing barrel needs to go into a Marshfield pay-as-you-throw bag, which can be purchased. And with COVID, we kind of lost our enforcement on the size of the barrels. So it seems like in town now we have varying size barrels. And we have continuing trash collection cost increases of about 4% per year. And disposal cost is very limited in Massachusetts, or disposal capacity right now is very limited. So disposal costs are also increasing. I'll turn it over to Todd for the DEP perspective.
All right, so thank you, Ken, and to members of the board for having me. We have, every 10 years, we update our solid waste master plan through the state of Massachusetts. Last one, or the current one we're in, runs till 2030. We've got some pretty aggressive goals we're trying to hit for diversion. All that stuff can be found on the Mass DEP website. It's roughly 30% by 2030, which we are hoping Marshfield will want to help us out with that. That's why Ken and I are talking here today. There's really heavy emphasis on waste reduction goals in there. And like you had mentioned in the last slide, we have some disposal capacity issues coming up. We have roughly 3 active landfills left in the state, one primarily taking ash. And those are scheduled to close by 2030. So that leaves us with combustion facilities and possibly rail outside, taking our trash outside the state. One of the top programs that Mass DEP has found that successfully reduces the solid waste and increases recycling is the pay-as-you-throw program, which you guys currently have had for decades now, for a long time. And it's one of those programs we're not willing to let go of just because you guys are doing a great job with it, and Deb does a great job monitoring it. And it's really the best incentive for a resident to participate and recycle as much as possible. Still me. Some of the key benefits, it works like a utility, which is really what trash is. It's another utility. It's like paying your power bill. You are paying for exactly what you use for electricity. Just like with pay-as-you-throw, you're paying for exactly what you are disposing of. It's equitable. It means my neighbor is not going to pay for my trash. They're going to pay for theirs, and I'm going to pay for mine. It's got a serious impact on the environment because it does push a lot of that good recyclable material into the recycling bin, which does save a lot more as far as pollution and environmental benefits, costs by recycling. There's roughly 155 municipalities in the state that do participate in pay-as-you-throw programs in some way, shape, or form, whether that's with a card and pay-as-you-throw for extras or full pay-as-you-throw. And if you have a pay-as-you-throw program, which you guys do, you're basically cutting your trash by anywhere between 25 to 40%.
So again, looking at DEP's numbers, when they survey all the communities in Massachusetts, looking at 2021, on non-pay-as-you-throw communities, they had on average about 1,757 pounds of trash per household. The pay-as-you-throw communities were about 1,276, and Marshfield was right in that average, just below that at 1,259. So the program we have is working, but it could be better.
So one of the reasons Ken had reached out to me was to talk about carts and try to standardize it throughout the town of Marshfield. Right now, because of COVID, there's some different sized carts, which is making things less equitable for others. What we have, and what he was talking about with the weights, I'm going to go into a little more detail. It's kind of hard to see from here, but we've got this nice spreadsheet that we made, and you can see in red is Marshfield for your weights. This is pounds per household per year of trash that's coming out of each household in Marshfield. And you can see it's 1,259, so 1,259 pounds. Typical pay-as-you-throw program, this is using state data from the entire state, for just pay-as-you-throw is at 1,276. So you guys are below the state average as far as pay-as-you-throw, which is very commendable, and I should say you guys are doing a great job. So keep up the good work for the residents. If you decide to take a cart, and that's your sole source of solid waste disposal with pay-as-you-throw on the side, you're looking at possibly increasing that to about 1,422 pounds. So you're looking at a difference of roughly just below 200 pounds per household per year of increase. Now, what that translates into is extra disposal costs that the town has to take on. So that's what's going to happen, is your disposal cost is going to go up a little bit. If you decide to go with a larger cart, for example, a 64-gallon cart, which a lot of people, a lot of different municipalities have, your average at 1,259, you've got the potential of going up just shy of 1,800 pounds. Now, when you're talking that big of a difference in the weight per household, you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars that the town's going to have to pay for disposal costs compared to what you were paying just pay-as-you-throw or a 35-gallon cart.
And it seems what we have now is we have some people who have the bigger containers who are probably filling those containers, so they're throwing away more. And then the people who are with the 35-gallon containers that must be filling in less if our average is still below what the 35-gallon container would be. So we're looking to try and unify it, have everybody have a 35-gallon container, and then again, the extra material would go in the pay-as-you-throw bags. So the cart size really makes a big difference. If the resident has a bigger one, if we were to go out and give everybody 65-gallon ones, they would fill it up or have the potential to fill it up. If they fill it up, it means our trash fees are going to go up. And in the long term, it's better because we know recycling programs are going to get better, they're going to improve, they're going to have new outlets for recyclables. So it's a long-term decision that we're looking to make. Municipalities that have pay-as-you-throw stay with pay-as-you-throw. I don't think anybody's moved away from it. And the industry is pushing for the cart collection as well because it's a safety perspective to them. If they have the automatic carts that they can just reach over, grab, and the guy in the truck doesn't have to touch as much material.
And there are some advantages to having a unified trash cart system in your town. It just makes it much more easier and convenient for your residents. You pick up a bag and sometimes it tears and you got to pick up the trash in the driveway. If you have a cart that's got wheels, you just roll it to the end of the curb. It's very, very simple. It's a system that's been around for a long time. They're definitely safer for residents, and if you're elderly, 35 gallon cart is always the way to go. The bigger carts get really heavy. I've got a 10-year-old, he can't even push it, he can't even turn, but take a 64-gallon cart and tip it backwards to move it. So it's just much more safer for the residents of the town to have a 35-gallon. It also provides equal volume for all households. You know what you're going to charge a resident, and you know they're throwing away less than the average. Let's keep it the same instead of giving them something huge that they're going to fill up. Limits the overage from larger barrels. So what that means is if you have a larger barrel, people aren't paying for that trash. It's going in there anyway. So if we do the smaller size, you know the cost is going to be covered with your basic 35-gallon cart, and then anything extra is going to have a pay-as-you-throw bag, so they're covering the cost of disposal. The town doesn't have to take that on. Another plus to a covered cart, a wheeled covered cart, is it helps keep rodents out. And that's something that, vermin control is a huge issue. Anyone that knows Boston, there's always some story about rats going wild up there, throwing big parties and stuff. With the carts that have a lid, it's really difficult for them to get in there and get that trash out. The other thing with the lid, as long as it's closed, the birds aren't going to get in there either. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen birds toss stuff across the road just from someone's trash cart that doesn't have a lid on it. Speaking of the lid, it'll minimize the litter. It's a uniform appearance throughout town right now. I believe it's kind of scattered. You've got different colored bins, different sizes bins. It's kind of scattered. If you have the same cart for every resident, it's going to look very, very nice in town. It looks much cleaner. It's an easier approach, and just more aesthetically appealing to the eye. And you also said it's safer for the hauler to empty the containers in the truck itself. The fourth most dangerous job in the U.S. is a trash service person just getting out of the truck. So it's a very dangerous profession.
So the reason why we're even bringing this up right now is the financial considerations. Right now, Mass DEP has some grants available for purchase of these 35-gallon carts, if towns are willing to do that. The carts cost about $49, and the DEP is saying that they will grant up to $30 for the cart. So for Marshfield, the number of households we have, that would be just under $300,000 for grants. Again, we would still have $19 to pay off. We'd have to figure out how to do that, whether that comes out of retained earnings or it goes onto the trash bill. But for now, what we're looking at is just some affirmation from the board that we should go and pursue this grant that's out there right now. And the grant application is due in June.
June 14th. Yeah. So some of the, there's a lot of opportunity to choose the best path forward. One is the grants, but you really have the power to mitigate the costs through careful analysis and planning, and that's exactly what Ken and I have been doing over the last couple of weeks, preparing for this grant. Ken filed for a technical assistance grant for DEP to allot a certain amount of time for me to help him out with this project. I'm not sure who got the notice. It was the town administrator. It was great to see that award, and the town administrator was very happy with it. So that's really the first step to getting this grant, is having me come out, take a look at what's going on, do the analysis, get the costs set up, do the implementation plan, and then apply for the grant. You're also finding ways to provide the best service for your residents, which ultimately is giving them a uniform cart, just from a safety aspect, the aesthetic aspect, limit the trash size so that way they push more into recycling. There's just too many benefits to even talk about. And you're also providing sustainable options and goals for your town's future.
Okay. All right, very good. Do we have any money in retained earnings that's about $190,000 to the residents, to the ratepayers?
Right.
What do we have in retained earnings?
Yeah, I don't know the exact, what we have in retained earnings. We would look through this process. It would be something that we would actually end up doing in the first quarter of next calendar year. So we have some time to close this year,
Okay.
to figure out where we are on the retained earnings and get it certified so that we know exactly where we are.
That's usually in October.
Right.
So if it goes retained earnings, by the way, is what's left in the checkbook after all the bills are paid. That's what we're talking about. So, I'll turn it over. Bob, do you have any comments?
So I have is the enforcement officer for solid waste in?
No.
Okay. So the question I have is, are there really that many outliers on the enforcement? Debbie's really pretty good with making sure that the barrels are not that
No,
big.
I think as Ken mentioned, one of the problems was that when COVID hit, we kind of just opened up the doors for people to just put whatever they wanted out on the sidewalk and come into the transfer station. So we got, as Ken mentioned, we kind of got away from the 35-gallon barrel. And at the last two town meetings, we've gone back and asked for more money for disposal. Because of this tonnage is way up because
Tonnage
of
is
that.
way up.
So by going to the 35-gallon barrel, it puts everything into uniformity. So we have, the truck itself now would be automated rather than the driver having to get out and empty that container into the hopper. So it's, would there be any possible savings in the future with the automation of it? That's something that we need to discuss with Republic. But, I mean, there's a couple of ways we can look at this. It's gonna get our tonnage back to where it was. We don't lose the revenue of the bags. And what we have to think of is how we offset that $20 cost. Whether it's a one-time fee to the resident, or once we get these certified retained earnings, we can determine if there's adequate funding there.
So, yeah, I got one on there. Most people could put out one big bulky item a week. We're not gonna change it, right?
No.
No, this is just,
So what is the current gallons of the recycled good that he's provided?
64 is the
That's a
recyclable.
64?
Yes.
Well, I'm for uniformity. Hopefully it works, but it's small. But, we also have a lot of summer people in this town. So basically, usually it fills up more in summer than winter. So I want to thank you for coming. I'll take it under advisement. I'm for uniformity and making everything look the same. And hopefully we can get everybody to buy into it. John, back to you.
Thanks, Bob. Ms. Jordan, do you have any comments?
I do. What's your time limit on applying for the grant again?
June 14th.
So you could come back to the next meeting to get a vote?
Yes.
And how long is, I'm sorry, your name, sorry.
Todd?
How long are you with him as a consultant?
Till the project's done.
Till it's
I mean,
done.
Yeah, the hours doesn't really matter because I'm here to see the
Okay.
end game, so.
So you're not on the time?
No.
One other question. In other communities where they went to the smaller carts, did you notice any difference in, like, did people start putting their trash in their recycling?
I'm not gonna say it
To
doesn't
avoid
happen.
buying the bags?
I'm not gonna say it doesn't happen, but it's a lot rarer than you would think.
Oh, good.
So
That's good.
it's, you know, especially, you've got Debbie. I was gonna say that, you have Debbie. That would not happen, so,
Okay.
yeah.
But everything's going to be sealed.
She has no issue lifting the cart until
she goes through everyone.
I've known Debbie a long time now, and she's the toughest one in my district, so.
She does well. Are you all set?
I'm all set.
Okay. Can we have comments from the audience? Mr. Murphy?
Eric Murphy, Ocean Street. I just have a question with the 35-gallon barrels. Are the $2 pay as you throw bags still going to be available? Because, you know, a family of 5 like myself, sometimes I'm jumping up and down on the barrel to get that last bag, and, you know, it's just not quite enough, 35 in the recycling bin. And then my second question would be is, what is the revenue on the $2 bags for his last year? How much $2 bags are you getting thrown away every year? Is it a great number? Are there a lot of people overflowing their barrels and needing that extra $2 bag, or is it a minuscule amount? Would be my question.
So yeah, so answer to your first question is, there's no intention of getting rid of the pay-as-you-throw bags.
Okay.
So that's I guess a financial disincentive for people to recycle they see it right away. You know how many bags you're buying, so it really comes to the forefront. I don't have the figures right now for the bag sales, but it is hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in bag sales.
Okay, so there's a significant amount of people who overuse their ability to 35.
Yes.
Because I know both barrels, recycling and trash, on a weekly basis with a family of 5, is filled to the rim. The cover on the recycling bin is sometimes propped open this big.
Don't
So-
tell Debbie you probably didn't know.
Debbie knows me very well, trust me. She actually lived next door to me for a while.
Yeah.
So the thing is if the green bags are not there, then we don't really have a chance to do that overflow.
Right.
But if they are, a huge source of income, then wouldn't it be better to do a 50-gallon barrel with no green bags and have it uniform throughout the town as a 50-gallon barrel?
Then we would lose all the revenue from the pay-as-you-throw bags, and our trash disposal costs would go up.
Okay.
So we get hit twice.
Yep. Cool. As long as there's no overflow. Sometimes there's 4 or 5 bags out there. Thanks.
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, Carrie Harrison, 29 Billings Road. Just, can you clarify again what the increase has been in our trash volume that you're trying to save? I'm not sure I fully understood what the problem was, because it sounded like we were coming in under the average across the state. So can you just go over those numbers one more time, please?
Sure, so Marshfield average is below, or right at, we're talking 1259 to 1276, something like that. So it's right around the average of other pay-as-you-throw programs. But when we went from the COVID year to right in the middle, or before COVID, into COVID, we went up 15% in 1 year. Trash generation, which everybody was at home, right? Nobody could go to work, so it made sense that it was going to go up. But we're kind of post-COVID now. You would think people were going back to work, but what we're seeing is we're still up at that 15%. We dropped down by like 1% or 2%. So we're still very high compared to where we were before we went into the pandemic.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Lynch?
Steve Lynch, 57th Street. I'm getting old here, so I'm having a little hard time hearing everything you said. So I know you've already answered this question that I'm going to ask you. So the recycling barrel that we have now, how many gallons is that?
64?
And how, then you want to make the trash barrel to be almost
30.
half of that?
35, yes.
Yeah.
Any more questions? I just have a comment on the pay-as-you-throw bags. I actually attended all the meetings of the when it was implemented. And that bag was based on 40 pounds. That's how the cost come up to $2. At the time, it was like 4 cents a pound times 40 pounds. It's $1.60 and 20 cents for manufacturer and 20 cents for overhead. But really, on the bag, that's a moneymaker. Because the bags only hold, people put in 10, 15 pounds. But it's based on 40 pounds, so there's a generous amount of money that we do make on the pay-as-you-throw bags. That's the reason why it's so high.
And any of that money is going back into the enterprise fund?
Yes,
which is
right. It goes into
self-funded
retained
costs.
earnings, and we spend it, in the program. So, yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, I'm just saying
Yep.
it does, we need to keep the bags.
Yeah, and there hasn't been an increase in the cost of the bag since we implemented pay-as-you-throw.
Yeah, I remember, yeah, it was back, you were on that, yeah.
Marie was on the committee.
What was the name?
Solid Waste Advisory Committee.
SWAT or something.
It was just, was it 2 years we had to do?
I attended all the meetings. I wasn't even on the board.
Went on forever.
I was on the board. And our concern was that we went to town meeting, because at the time we wanted to go strictly as a pay-as-you-throw community. And we went to the town meeting, the town meeting voted. They had 3 choices. The first choice was go, leave it the way it is. Second choice was one barrel. I'm not sure the size. There was one barrel, and then anything after that would be pay-as-you-throw bags. And then the third was 100% pay-as-you-throw. So since town meeting voted and we had a major turnout at the time, really would not want to change what town meeting voted on option 2. I don't have a problem with going uniformity with the trash barrel along with the recycling barrel. It makes it easier and safer for all being concerned. And we could, it could be more efficient on the price because it could be done more automated. So that's why I was in favor of being more automated and more uniform, because there's efficiencies we could get in the next contract.
True.
So,
Those bags are a critical revenue source for us, so it's
right,
important.
right, but I don't want to go just strictly to the bags.
No.
No, otherwise, Eric Murphy would be doing a lot of pest control in Marshfield.
You gotta double up on those bags.
Okay,
All right. So we'll bring it back for
Next
May.
meeting.
so I got a question about bringing it back, John. Since there is a tight time frame to do a grant and filling it out and all that. And I've got, today's what, the 10th?
We're gonna meet one more time.
One
in
more
May.
time. Does that shorten the window on us?
So for the grants, you
Yeah.
can fill out any grant that you want. You never have to accept it, even if it's awarded.
Right.
So I always advise every one of my meetings to fill out all of the grants, because I have 31 meetings with the grants, and then they can always just turn them down at the end. So, we're gonna fill out the grant anyway, it's just whether or not we hit submit, and we can wait till, June 14th at 11:59 if we want to, because that's when they close, but it'd be much easier to just get it in there now and say no later if we need to.
So, in accepting a grant, there are strings attached. Could you explain what the strings are attached?
It's really, it's reporting, that's about it, so.
Just reporting?
Yeah, I think it's 2 years of reporting.
Okay. It's not a contract, there's always strings attached.
Yeah.
It's the bottom line that I'm
Yeah,
concerned
well,
about.
keep in mind it's a state grant and it's to help, it's to help the municipalities with diversion. And so there's really, the strings that are attached from us are very few. And literally it's just a report, so.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
We'll bring it up on the 22nd.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks,
Thanks,
Dan.
Dan.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Is Ms. Butler here? Okay, Ms. Butler. You're up.
Where do I go?
You could sit right there, whatever you want.
All right, I'm here just to dispute a bill, a big bill.
Okay.
So it goes on, it's long and tenuous. So let me just read my little letter and we'll go from there. Okay, to whom it may concern, I'm assuming these are the 3 board members. I left them here at 6. I was told the meeting was at 6:15, but you are John Cusick
Correct.
and Diane. You just got elected. Congratulations. Thank you. And who's the other? Bob Shaughnessy?
Bob Shaughnessy.
All right. Okay, to whom it may concern, as suggested by Lisa Clark, the town treasurer, I am applying for an abatement because these bills that I have are outrageous. Spring 2022, $1,600. Fall 2022, $2,875. Spring 23, $41.96. And these are just current usage, not compounding amounts. So this all started when I had a grate outside my house that was continually running water at the beginning of 2022. I initially thought this was just snow melting, but by the first week in March, the snow was pretty much gone and that drain was still continually running. So I called the DPW and they sent out 2 nice kids to check it out. They checked all the grades to the top of Hillside Street. My street is Meadowview Street and Hillside is perpendicular to Meadowview Street. And it's a hill that comes down. So they checked all the grades to the top of Hillside and said someone would be here back in a week or 2. One of the kids came back the next day to fix the work of someone before him, which I really appreciated. A couple of weeks later, a couple of guys come back and they do some work at the top of the hillside, and then a few more times after that. Then I get my spring bill 2022 and I'm shocked. It is $1,600. I called billing at town hall and told her they were working on the problem and told her I didn't want to pay the bill or get the late fee, which was due the next day. She said, don't worry, they have to fix the problem first, and she took my name and address. So I put this bill aside, figuring I'll get a corrected bill, will arrive, or they'll call me and tell me what the problem is. I hear absolutely nothing for 5 months. Then I get a letter from the DPW saying the water usage is high and might be due to outside watering or a plumbing problem. Absolutely no mention at all about the outside drain problem that I had called about in the spring. So I call Michelle Padilla at the DPW regarding they sent me a letter and a reading sheet with it. And she says, how did you get my name? I said, I told her it was on the letter. And she says, oh, I didn't know they were going to put my name on the letter. Well, first of all, who was they? Secondly, the letter is supposedly signed by Michelle, and if she didn't sign it, who signed it? Because I have it right here, and it's signed. And thirdly, why wouldn't she want her name on the letter? So right after this, I get the fall 2022 bill with a previous balance of 0, but a current balance of $2,900. I am shocked. Nothing prior to the DPW letter. No bill with demands, no shut-off notice, no anything. Then I get my real estate tax bill that now has a lien for $1,793, the amount being questioned from the spring. I get absolutely no warning they are going to do this, and the fall bill actually showed the previous balance of 0. My real estate taxes are paid monthly with my mortgage. So now my tax bill was $2,900 instead of $1,600 for the quarterly bill. Even Michelle Padilla said she thought a lien just sat there until a house is sold and wasn't acted upon right then and there. So I go to town hall to pay this, and Lisa Clark says these bills are outrageous and you should file for an abatement. Now Lisa Clark sees everybody's bill in the entire town, so if anybody knows if a bill is outrageous, it would be Lisa Clark. I called DPW to apply for an abatement, and she says you don't qualify for an abatement financially. Now, apparently in your rules, if there's 2 people in the household, you cannot make more than $36,000. And it is very odd that your income limits are totally different than the rest of the town's income limits. Like you're on your own little island here. So then, shortly after, I get the spring 2023 bill, and the current charge is $4,100. How about that? I did have a running toilet for part of this time, but it is unfathomable that that would produce numbers like this. So call number, I don't know, 4 or 5, we're on call number 4 or 5 to the DPW again. Michelle tells me that the last reading was done on 1/30/23, which produced that $4,100 number. The same day, I see 2 young kids around 12 years old at the fire hydrant across from my street, checking the numbers on it with their phone, which I found extremely strange. I don't think 12-year-olds are usually saying, I'm going to put checking the fire hydrant at the top of my list for what to do after school. I told Michelle Padilla this, and she also thought it was very weird. I asked Michelle to do another reading, and she does one that day, which the time I was talking to her was on February 16th, which turned out to be more normal, and then another reading on 2/28/23, which again was more normal. I have lived in Marshfield for many years and have always paid these bills. Just before the pandemic, my husband died in his 60s. And then we shut down the world for 2 years. I am 69 years old and struggling, but I am trying to right the ship. But since I brought in my original abatement paperwork, a new wrinkle has developed. Apparently, the DPW had a meeting on March 27th, and the next day, a water meter magically appears on my house. The very next day. Apparently, I went to the DPW to tell Michelle this, as I had previously told her that I didn't see the water meter. Another coworker in the office, while I was standing there, said, "Is it a silver box?" And I said, "Yes, actually it is." She said, "Oh, that's just so they can take readings from the street." Now this now begs the question, how are they doing the readings? Were they just making up these readings? Were they actually taking the readings of the running street drain outside my house that I had called in the spring? And when that got fixed, did they move over to the street hydrant for the readings? So this is all very concerning to me. So let's have some answers. You guys are the ones that work for the DPW. Let's have it. Have
If I
at it.
may, Mr. Chairman?
And 1 second. We're here to help you.
Well, honestly, you guys right here might be here to help me. But what I dealt with in the office, Dave Bowen or whatever his name was, he was not there to help me.
Easy.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, as for the water running in the street, that would not impact your water bill one bit. Because the only thing that will impact your water bill is when the water runs through the meter. So your toilet's leaking, you had a faucet that drips. or
They
leaks.
took the water meter
Can
and
I-
maybe put
Can I
it onto
finish
something
talking,
else.
please? I let you talk.
You did.
So there's no connection whatsoever with the water running in the drain out front. You have a water service that runs off the main, the water main, that runs into your house to a meter. So all the water that passes through that meter is due to something inside your house on the backside of the meter.
Who took the water meter off the house?
Your water meter is inside your house, not outside your house.
Do you want to take a ride in the car right now? The water meter is on my house.
Hey, Miss Butler, we're here to help you.
Oh.
Miss
Okay,
Butler,
all
the
right,
thing
calm
that is
down.
on the side of your house is a radio read, all right? It's read by a remote reader. That box is a transmitter. It transmits the numbers to the handheld reader from the water meter inside your house. There's no
So
connection to
if it's
your...
not on the house, how are they reading it?
It's connected to your water meter in the house. It's a box on the outside.
But it wasn't there. All these readings, the box wasn't there.
I'm sorry, every house in town has a box
Yeah,
on
we
it.
all,
Do you have a full basement?
Yes.
wait a minute. You gotta start the rules here. You want to speak, ask for you.
All
Okay?
right, can I, well, are you finished?
No, I was
Good.
good.
Sorry, I cut you off.
So we all have a reader. We do. And we all have water meters. So I see your bill is high. We're here to help you on it.
Thank you.
So we can discuss the actual cost. I don't want to bring the whole thing up. But I know in other instances of high water bills, we've gone out of our way to help that resident. We actually helped the DAV at a high water bill. We've helped a restaurant with a high water bill. We've helped a resident years back on Flames Road with a very high water bill. So we're here to help you with your high water bill. Go ahead.
So our concern is, if you have a problem somewhere.
I have a problem with somebody taking
Wait a
the
second,
water
wait a
meter
minute.
off my house.
So some,
You can take the water meter.
if you have a full basement, if there's a break after the meter, your basement would be flooded. So it has to go through somewhere in the house that's leaking. So my question is, did you have a plumber go through the house and make sure that all the toilets are not running?
I have 2 toilets. One toilet was shortly running, but even that, I talked to Anne Marie and even she said those numbers are unfathomable for a running toilet.
So when was the last time you had a plumber to check the system?
I can have a plumber come in and check the system. But I want to know who took the water meter off my house. That's very
No, was
concerning.
it, so the meter is a 2-part system? What you're talking about, the meter comes from the main, it's a physical brass meter, and then there's a wire from that goes outside to a radiant meter. so that we don't have to knock on your door
To go
to
inside.
go in the house. It's a radio, it's outside radio, we've been doing that for 20-plus years. Used to be
That's my point, you're making my exact
No,
point.
so one second, so that we've changed over the systems so that we can do it as electronic versus have to go plug it into the side of the house. We haven't gone into people's houses in years. One, it's protect the residents, two, it's protect the workers, three, it's more efficient, and it's less costly. So from that standpoint, if there's a water break and it was after the meter, the first place it would flood, it would not be in the drain, it would be in the basement. So the reason why I asked you if you had a plumber do it, I have the same problem with a couple of the toilets. And I didn't even know that they were even leaking until I did a dye test. And you put the dye in the toilet and you can actually see it leaking. It doesn't make any sound and it just runs and runs. The worst thing you can have is not change those flappers. Now, John Kuzak, he's a plumber, he can explain exactly to what I'm talking about. But you know, it's a silent money pit. We can adjust and work with you about what the bill is to make it more reasonable to you. And I'm more willing to do that. What we really need, what we need to do is, we need to figure out what the problem is and help you not have to deal with this ever again.
Exactly, never again.
That's what we're here for. We're all citizens of Marshfield. We're one big community. We need to work together. We'll help you out.
Okay.
That's what John was saying.
Tell me when I can speak.
Okay, well, we're gonna go to Ms. Jordan. Would you have something to say to this? Just a high water bill that we need to fix.
Yeah, I think that hopefully we're gonna help you with the water bill. I definitely feel like having a plumber check out everything in your house is a good idea.
Okay, can I speak now?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah, my point is, if those silver boxes are on everybody's house, if they're not used, what are we putting them on the houses for?
Okay, all right. Let's just get by that and see if we can adjust your bill. I'm trying to adjust your bill, I'm trying to help you. Just, so, what do you owe? Is it the bottom line, 7,000?
Yeah, isn't that staggering?
So it is. How much have you paid of that bill?
Nothing, because we keep going back and forth.
Okay, all right. I just saw something that says you paid something.
Yeah, because they put it as a lien on my real estate
Okay,
taxes.
I'm
Now my mortgage got screwed out without even notification.
easy. We're here to help you. We're trying
Okay.
to figure out what we're gonna help you with.
I think anybody in this room that got a $7,000 bill would be a little
I
upset.
understand that. I'm trying to help you.
Okay?
I'm now. So it says paid online, 4/18/21, 682.80.
No, I never pay anything online.
Okay, all right, okay, I'm just reading. So, your normal bill is 682.80, that's what it says here,
That was one of them
a
earlier.
normal bill is 682.
I think even that's high, but yeah.
Well, I mean, it's right here, 120 on the water,
But that next bill was 1,600.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So is this for 2 quarters, or is this for 2, I'm trying to help you. Is 682.80 for 2 quarters, is that?
No, it's for spring, and then you get one in fall.
Trying to figure out what you owe for a normal
All
bill.
right, all right.
I'm trying to figure out what you owe for a normal bill.
Sean, it's 682.
682.
So what we have done in the past
Oh, so really?
is that we probably should do this. We should postpone doing anything
All right.
until she gets a plumber to certify that there's no leaks in the house. All right, and then if we get a letter from the plumber saying there's no leaks in the house, then I'm more than willing to, one, waive all the sewer fees back to normal, and two, we can negotiate the water side. Trash is normal.
I'm not disputing trash, they've been picking up the trash.
Now they have to pay the trash.
No, I will pay the trash,
Yeah.
there's no
So
dispute.
she pays the trash, we will waive the sewer back to normal, that's half of it. all right, and then we'll talk about the water. But give us something that's in writing from a plumber, or plumber company, they said, check your system, so that we can actually be certain, at least on a piece of paper, that that you won't have a problem in the future.
We're gonna lower your bill considerably.
So work with us, as John said.
That's what I'm trying to do, is, we're here to help you. That's a terrible bill, I know you're upset, I would be too, I'd go crazy.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
I don't mind it, you know, I can understand, but we're here to help you, so.
So I have a question about this. Will she end up with a $3,500 water bill if the town is happy with it?
She's not gonna end up with $3,500.
I mean, that's just very unfair.
No,
Thank you.
but we're here to help.
So,
Well,
so can we at least talk about what the next steps are?
well, if you come to the next meeting, we'll,
When is the next meeting?
May 22nd. In the meantime, if you get a plumber, just to check your toilets, make sure nothing's running. Actually, all they have to do is look at the water meter. The plumber knows there's a little red dial, and it's moving when all the water's off. There's some type of a problem, there's a little leak somewhere. Yeah, I've been a plumber for over 50 years, so I know what I'm talking about on the water. We all have water meters, so, you know. And then just check the house, the back, with, you know, a letter from the plumber saying he's checked if you don't have any leaks, and then we're gonna reduce your bill considerably.
All right.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
I think we should have the water department check the meter. Maybe put a new meter in and have that meter tested, just for the record.
Sure.
You can do all that.
Yeah, we'll have your meter checked.
It's only been there for like 2 weeks or something.
No, we're here.
Right.
We're not, we're trying to work, I mean, I feel for your loss, of your husband.
Thank you,
And
thank
that,
you.
you know, it's very stressful, but you're not alone, and we'll work with you.
Go ahead, Miss. No, you got the
I think that's a good plan. I definitely got the plumber,
1 second.
because you don't want to have to come back again after
No,
this is
I
all
don't.
settled, and if you don't,
Yeah.
you know, verify there's nothing wrong there, then you're just gonna go through this whole thing all over again.
Yeah, we're just gonna, and Andy concurs. So, we're gonna lower your bill. We just wanna make sure you don't have a leak and come back and then, you know, here we are again. Everybody's upset. Everybody's upset. So, if you come back May 22nd, we'll put it on at 6:15.
6:15?
And then someone will contact you, we'll probably be here,
Right here.
right here. And then we'll adjust your bill. So,
And someone will be out checking the meter.
we're here to help you.
I appreciate you. You're sympathetic. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So,
Good luck.
Thank
so
you.
just get it checked, I'm sorry. Back, in the back of the hall,
Yeah.
Mr. Murphy.
One question, John, if you're sending down the water department to pull off the meter and put a new meter on, I mean, I've seen my meter, the little red dial that you tell is spinning. If the water department's there and the little red dial isn't spinning, why should she have to pay for a plumber to come out and look at it and inspect it?
No, she's not paying for
She's
plumbing.
Thank you.
I'm just saying, she's gonna have to pay her a plumber to look for it. If the water department doesn't see the little red dial spinning, does that mean the water's not running?
She's not paying the plumber to look at the water meter. She's paying the plumber to check the appliances in her house, the water
Sure.
closet, the toilet, as we call it.
Yeah.
The sinks, the faucet. Just make sure that you don't have a problem, because you'll be coming back again. You
Okay.
know, and if you have a.
We wanted to change change the meter out.
No, but
You
what I'm
have the
saying
meter
is,
have the meter tested.
when they're standing there looking at the meter and unscrewing it and shutting it all off, they don't see
But
the
you-
little thing moving.
well-
Obviously, the water's not leaving, correct?
Yeah, no, he's finished, Bob.
I mean, I'm just trying to be easy on the way.
Eric, what we're talking about,
I get
you're
it.
gonna check the meter to see if it was reading properly.
Flow properly.
Okay, that's what we're doing. You wanna go ahead, Bob?
That's all.
In cases like this in the past, we've pulled the meter and had them tested. So the public record shows that there was a problem with the meter or not. So the bottom line is that because of timing and cost, and we're gonna reduce your bill, I want to make sure we have it as a public record that we've done everything due diligence to help you.
Thank you.
We're
We
gonna
can
have,
send a technician to the house to check the meter again if that's an issue.
Yeah, we should. But don't we take them out, check them?
If they replace the meter, she's saying they just replaced the reader outside.
It's only been there for a few weeks.
All right, so they changed the reader outside.
Yeah.
Let me check in the morning to see
Okay,
if
fine.
they
We're
changed.
gonna check the meter too.
Because the new meters, the tens, they pick up a tenth of a gallon of water.
Yeah.
Leaks by, so I'll check to see what they did. down
Having a leak in faucets drives me nuts, because I've had a couple of my dads like, like in the middle of the night, why is that flushing?
we have one more question in the back.
Joe Pasevich, Wilson Road. Yeah, just want to remind you, the leak could be anywhere after the meter. I've been under houses.
What do you mean after?
You have the water coming in from the street, it goes through the meter, and it goes into a pipe which then supplies your house. But in some places, the pipe then dives back underground or goes into a wall or something, and it could be leaking there.
That's why you need to have someone professional.
Exactly. Okay, a plumber. So what you want from me is a plumber?
Just a record for the plumber, to check that he knows what to do. He'll look at the new meter that's there, make sure it's not spinning, it's a little dial. Check your water closet,
Yeah.
that's the toilet, and the sinks, showers, whatever.
And you can give us something in writing so we have it for the public record.
And then come
And then
back.
bring that back to you on the 22nd?
And then we're gonna fix your bill.
Okay. That sounds like a plan.
You'll be happy.
All right.
Nicely done. Excuse me.
All righty, thank you.
Yeah. You're still nice.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, it's yours? I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, that's funny. That's right. All right, thank you for your time.
We'll fix it. Okay, where are we now? Let's see, I want to move to can we move to the Article 14, the irrigation system, that's the veterans. I'd like to move that. I make a motion, we move that, discuss number 3. Okay? All right, that?
Yep, move it up.
Okay, all in favor?
Like,
All right, okay.
Hey.
So now we have the irrigation system. And we have, what do we have here? Yeah. That's a phony document, that one there. We'll discuss that in a minute. Restricted water uses. That's a phony. All right, we get back to Article 14, where the hell is all my favorites? What happened to all the stuff I put in
It's
there?
all there, John. I put it,
Is it in the back?
no, it's on number 3. No, I don't know. Tab, should be number 3.
Number 3 on your tab.
I'm in 3. I'm in 3. I'm looking for Article 14. It might be here.
So,
No, not there. Maybe in the back.
I got it right here. under
I don't have it in my
tab 3.
section 3 either.
No,
this is Article 5, not Article 14.
no, I got articles back in item 3.
Restricted water use, Article 5.
there it is,
And
6.
that's
Okay.
5.
We'll make this quick.
Wait,
So,
John, maybe it's on 6. Let me look. Maybe I put it. Wait a minute.
I got it under 3.
7, 3.
they don't have Article 14.
Here, John. Come down.
Well, tell me, we can,
Yeah, well, what I want to do is, Joe, will you sit down, please?
Yes, sir.
The Article 14 in the October meeting of 2022 was passed unanimously by the town of Marshfield residents at the town meeting in October. That article was an article for the irrigation at the Veterans Garden, I believe it's called now, the Veterans Garden. And at no charge to the town, the irrigation system would be allowed, and the veterans would adhere to all water restrictions, whatever they might be, the same as we all do. So I just want to grant the veterans that I want to support the town vote, so that a future board would have to have an article at town meeting to undo that, because it was done by town meeting.
Okay.
Town meeting allowed that. So we want to affirm it and we want to support it. So I'll make a motion that we accept the Article 14, and I'll go now for discussion. If we have discussion, first I have to take it from the board.
Discussion for Article 14, and I have it's under Section 6, John. Will the town vote to name the parcel of land located at the juncture of Plymouth Avenue and Ocean Street, the Veterans Memorial Gardens, and allow it to be made at no cost to the town of Marshfield and vets Ed Egan, Post 1996. Further, will the town allow a small irrigation system to be installed at this memorial garden at no charge to the town and in compliance with all rules and regulations of the town and the water uses as may be determined by the Marshfield DPW. The DPW has provided a water connection and a water meter charging water use to the Marshfield AMVETS Ed Egan, Post 1996. Petition of Kerry Harris. So, since that, we voted to go into it, so people have to listen. The previous board worked with the AMVETS to come up with legal counsel on a license.
There is no license.
Wait a second, hang on a second. License, which had language in there that the petitioners didn't like, and said they didn't want to have a license, and they didn't want to have the areas. Since then, the previous board also made sure that they were not going to be charged for any water use at that island. And that was a couple of meetings ago, because Grand Rock is not being charged. So we wanted to make sure that we treat this similar to the other islands. So the sticking point of...
There is no sticking point.
Hang on a second, I'm talking, please. My sticking point on the license was the issue of holding the town harmless. And basically, town council had recommended not just this island, but all islands in town, and asked Anne Marie and the superintendent to work with town council, so that there was 3 factors that we wanted to do, and I'll put this on public record, is so that the town is not harmed in any of the islands. So all the islands should have some kind of written release or waiver, releasing the town from any liability or damages associated with working on or about a traffic island. 2, we should have the right to terminate and cease activities on an island, and the town should not be held liable for any reason. And 3, the town shall not have any liability of any damages of loss of property and shall not make any liability against the town, so the person who's there. So I think the town council had good recommendations that anyone that has an island out there, that it saves the rest of the town harmless on any kind of liability. And if people don't want to get the permit and hold the town harmless, then maybe they shouldn't do the adopt island.
You're still against the fence. You've had enough, that's it.
No, wait a second, John, I'm not finished.
Me, what-
So what I'm
I run
saying-
the show, you've had
So-
enough, that's it.
What my bottom line is,
That's it.
John, is that I want to make sure that the town
Yeah, you-
is treating everybody fairly
Yeah. Well, that's
and
it.
holding
You're
the
all
town
done.
harmless.
You're all done.
So if you were looking to make sure that the vets,
Why don't you
if
keep
you-
your
if
mouth
you-
shut?
if you, just, the bottom line, John, is we have to treat everybody fair, including you.
See what I mean? See this, watch this.
Please don't leave.
I can't stand
Are you quitting?
Please don't leave.
This is out of control.
Are you
It's
guys
not out of
quitting?
control.
Please
I run the
Quit
meeting.
it.
I run it. I asked them to stop talking.
Quit it.
You have the floor.
Yeah.
I asked them to stop talking.
Chairman, may I speak?
Go right ahead.
Thanks. I think the intention was to pass the vote, for the board to vote on what town meeting voted for. And it wasn't, this agenda item wasn't intended to get into a rehashing of the discussion that happened before, and that may be why the chairman is becoming upset by what Mr. Shaughnessy is speaking about. And I really hope that my presence could, make things a little bit more peaceful. So I'm not sure if I'm able to, but can I ask that a motion be made that we just vote on this for Article 14 as town meeting approved, and just move on to the next thing? Is that possible?
Yes, we can. In Article 14, just so we know, it does say that there is a water meter. Now, I'll correct that. Since then, there is no water meter. The water meter might be there, but there's no charge to the veteran. So, you want to make the motion to accept the Article 14 as written?
Yes.
Without the water meter
Yep, I make a
charge?
motion to accept Article 14 as written
I'll
from
second
town
it.
meeting.
All in favor?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
It says in the article that at no cost to the town. Could you explain that to us, how that impacts the DPW?
The irrigation system.
Yeah.
How does it impact the DPW?
It says at no cost to the town, just asking for
They're gonna have it
clarification.
installed and pay for it themselves, or?
They're gonna pay
Yeah,
for the
You're gonna take
meter
care of
and the meter pit and
We are.
backflow preventions and all that? I'm asking it as a question.
yeah. You've got somebody.
I'm asking the board, not the audience.
Yeah, they're gonna do it.
Right.
That's correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
I think Eric Basley is gonna do the work.
okay, I'm just asking the
Yeah, well,
question.
of course they're gonna have irrigation without backflow.
No, I know that, I'm asking a question so I can get clarity.
All right,
That's all I'm doing here.
so they have a meter, but they're not being charged for the water.
Right,
After the meter, they're gonna have a backflow preventer and then the irrigation system.
okay, I'm just asking for clarity.
Well, they wouldn't put it in, you gotta have it inspected.
I know that, that's why I'm asking all this.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to explain my point before, if I could.
No.
You're not gonna allow me to speak?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
Well, why am I here?
Why are we all
Why
here?
are we all here?
I'm gonna speak anyway. No cost to the town means that we can't give them free water, because it will be a cost to the town. All right? And in compliance with all rules and regulations, you need to hold the town harmless if there's any liability. So if you pass this Article 14 as written, there are major issues with it. I think you should hold off on it, and we should work through the issues.
You made the motion, did you second it?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. 2-1, what are you gonna vote?
No, there's
Okay.
issues.
2-1.
There's legal issues,
You
there's
have your
liability.
irrigation. That's what you wanted, you went to town meeting. Okay, so go right ahead.
Thank you.
Whose meeting is
I
this?
don't think like it's the audience meeting.
The veterans.
I'm not against the veterans.
Oh, yeah?
No one.
No, John, this is not about the veterans, this is about town of Marshfield's liability and water.
It's been 20 years.
No. Okay.
20 years of water.
Okay, thank you so much. for
Thank you
coming
very
in.
much. Thank you. Have a good night.
Let's go to number 4, payment financial hardship guidelines. Number 4.
Good job, guys.
John, I have a question. So the rest of the islands, as far as liability goes, so we don't have to add any liability to the other ones if we're not going to use that one, is that right? I just have to know when I send out the forms.
No liability.
Okay. Okay.
I disagree with that. I, as a taxpayer, disagree that we should not have the liability language in Indian regulations.
Because, I mean, okay.
We have number 4, abatement financial hardship guidelines. These are the new guidelines. Oh, look at 2 went up to 39,440. Not that much money. Do we have to accept this?
Board has to vote to accept these new guidelines.
All right.
And they're not done by the town, they're done by the Commonwealth of Mass.
Okay. I don't see a problem with Commonwealth of Mass. I'll ask for discussion from the vice chair.
This is a normal housekeeping. We do it every year.
Yes.
Okay. Anything from Ms. Jordan?
No question.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we accept the effective May 8th, the guidelines covering abatements, financial hardship, meeting current federal non-farm poverty income levels, effective May 8th, 2023. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 3-0. Okay. Trash cart sets out, that's for next week. Restricted water use. That was a question I had.
I have the article mixed up in that one, John.
It's in 6 of them.
Yeah,
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
I didn't
I
put it
didn't
in
know.
3.
Okay. So, in section 5, it's number 3, under 6, it's number 3 with a question mark. That particular section 5, restricted water use, someone added this language. Someone added to a town bylaw that an irrigation system, they didn't even say the use, they said the installation of irrigation systems, automatic or manual, is prohibited on town-owned lands and traffic islands. This was in September 2022. I voted against this, but actually, it's a fraud. This doesn't exist in the town. Everybody will get all upset, but this is a fraud. You were there.
Excuse me, how do you say things of a fraud without any backup? What are you talking about, John?
Who put that in? Who put that in there? Who put in?
I was just giving this to me tonight. Who did
You
this?
voted for this.
What are you talking about, John,
The board voted
please?
for it.
I didn't
The board
vote
voted
against
for
it.
it.
The board
You
voted
no.
for it.
You voted no, John.
Yes, I know they voted for it. This is a phony
How
document.
do
Why
you
is
think
it
it's a
phony?
fraud?
How do you say it's phony?
I say it's phony because...
Because you say it?
Who put in town-owned lands and traffic islands? Who put that in?
It was in there.
No, it isn't in there. No, it isn't. You go back to number 1. 424. I got it right here. The actual article.
That was a new policy that was presented by the water supervisor. So it wasn't fraud, it was submitted by the water supervisor.
I just had it. It was amended in 2017, Article 10 at the town meeting. And this here, someone added this language, but the language in Article 10, 2017, under E, it says that automatic manual irrigation system are prohibited.
That's right.
It's in the old one.
It was amended in 2017. You got that, Diane? I can't find it.
Yeah, I think the
Can I see
issue,
this? All right, John, I have this right here in front of me. All right, it's 4B from town meeting. All right, it's signed by Patricia Pico.
Yeah, I know.
All right,
Yeah, I
and
know.
Article E states, automatic irrigation sprinkler systems used. All right?
That's the actual bylaw.
That's right.
That's the bylaw.
That's the bylaw.
That bylaw was amended in 2017 under 5 restricted. And under 5 restricted, that language that's here is not here. I had that, Anne Marie, and I don't know where it is.
I put
Section
the-
5, if I believe what you're reading, John,
Bylaw.
it's not a bylaw. It's our rules and regulations of the water and sewer department. It's not a bylaw. It's rules and regulations.
I got the rules and regulations. I
Right.
have them, I read them.
Section
You know what-
5?
You know what section 5 is? It's the bylaw that was passed. That's section 5. Go look at it.
It's right here, I see it.
Right. It's the old bylaw. It was amended in 2017.
These are rules and regulations, John. These aren't, this isn't a bylaw you read in section 5, I don't believe it is.
So what you have here is two separate documents. One is the bylaw, which was passed in 2005.
I wish I had that paper.
When I was on the board, because we had no control over any of the water system in the middle of a drought. And we needed to, we did it in the fall of 2005. By having the bylaw, that allows the water department to establish the rules and regulations of the department. And what you're reading, you're saying is fraudulent.
It is a fraud.
It is not a fraud, it's the rules and regulations of the water department.
Get lost.
You can call everything a fraud. So, if you have a problem with,
I have a problem with someone adding language to a bylaw.
it's not a
Not
bylaw,
a bylaw.
it's the department's rules and regulations, which is different than a bylaw.
Charles is the bylaws. This is part of the bylaw. It was amended in 2017. It was amended, 2017.
The bylaw was amended,
That's correct.
okay? When you have a bylaw, then you write the rules and regulations against that.
You gotta go to town meeting and change the bylaw.
What you're reading is not a bylaw. What you're saying is fraud, is the rules and regulations of the department, not the bylaw.
No. That was changed just to make it difficult for the vets.
so this only applies to restricted water use, right? So we don't really.
It's in the
do anything
rules,
with it
not
right
the
now.
bylaw.
It's restricted water use under drought.
I'm not sure where you're coming from, John.
Yeah, you know where I'm coming from. Okay, we'll move on. Still a fraud. Somewhere I have that document. Road Management Contract, South Shore Consortium, number 7. Document attached. Tom, this is you.
Yeah.
What are you gonna say?
Roadway Consortium, the reason why this has taken so long to come before the board is that the bid process, we went through the bid process through the Plymouth Consortium for Roadway Management. The low bidder didn't perform previously, so they were thrown out. They protested the bid, It took a couple of weeks. T.L. Edwards was awarded the bid for the Plymouth Consortium. So I'm before the board tonight to sign this contract so that we can get working on our paving. We've got some money that we have to spend by the end of June or lose it. So they've guaranteed me that they could get that money spent for us before the end of June. And there are a number of other roads that we've got some bids, some quotes on also, and that would be Ferry, Furnace, parts of Forest, two different sections of Forest Street, Ferry Street at the bottom of Coast Guard Hill, Old Main Street. That's kind of what I have right now for lists.
So basically, this contract is Plymouth County, so we're just piggybacking on it.
It's Plymouth County. There's, I believe, 22 communities that are involved in this consortium.
Okay. Tom, what are you looking for the board to do?
I'm looking for the board to approve this contract.
You have a list of the, I sent you pictures of some work over there in Kent Park. Is that something that we can do with that money?
That's something we can do with the money we got at town meeting, yes.
That would be after July 1st?
No, I believe we got that at the special.
All right, if we got it at the special, we can fit that in.
I think we can go down and do some repairs.
Yeah, that's, I was there driving, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's,
If you dress it up, it could really prevent some of the problems. Okay, I make a motion that we accept roadway management for fiscal year, is that 23 or 24? That would be fiscal year 24.
this is for roadway management FY '23.
Okay, contract SS 2023 PW1. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
All right,
Okay.
There's just one thing, this says May 9th, is that correct?
Yeah, that we prepared this back then, so I mean, it takes effect immediately.
Okay, it's okay that it says we voted on it, but it's not May 9th, right?
Right, I mean, it takes effect today when you sign it. We put the date of today on it.
Oh, it says the 8th.
But they were awarded the contract,
Okay.
so.
Okay, just because it says on May 9th, the Board of Public Works voted, but today's the 8th.
We
So, is that okay? Is
Yeah.
that-
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, because we put this together on the 8th, you're voting on it on the 9th. So, yeah, we'll give it to them on the 9th. So it'll be effective once you voted on it.
Okay.
We can change that if we have
Okay. Roadway, extension of the wastewater transfer station residual transportation and disposal contract.
to. Yeah, this is an existing contract that we have that we're looking just to extend it.
Okay.
It's a
Is
three-
there a dollar
it's-
amount there, Tom?
What's that?
Is it a dollar amount that the disposal?
There was an increase, it's roughly,
6.6 cents per gallon for transportation, and then there's a disposal charge on top of that based upon the dry tons. So they have to take the water weight out when they look at the disposal costs.
All right, I don't have a problem with it. There is a motion. Do you have discussion? Anybody?
no discussion.
No questions.
You're all set? Okay. I'll make a motion to execute the third year and final extension of residual transportation and disposal agreement contract number 2021-01 to to Wastewater Service, Inc., and to authorize the chairman and designated member to execute the contract documents when they have been prepared. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We have the Grant Rock Seawall Repair Project, contract 2023-05, change order. Aha. What happened, Tom?
The seawall repair work along Ocean Street on the High Road is underway and it is about 50% complete. The contractor assisted the town in addressing an emergency situation causing some Plymouth Ave to flood at House 307. He did some clearing of vegetation about 600 feet by 8 feet wide from adjacent to Plymouth Ave from Johnson Terrace. This work was performed on April 27th, completed on the 28th. The water level in the street dropped approximately 0.5 feet. The proposal is to clean out vegetation from an 8-foot wide, approximately 1.5-foot depth, 600 linear feet ditch and cast vegetation and sediment to the side at a lump sum of $5,135. The funding source is from road reconstruction, and the staff recommendation is that the drainage ditch along Plymouth Ave and the marsh behind the abutting houses starting at Johnson Terrace is heavily blocked with Phragmites growth and requires cleaning. Sumco has experience in this type of river restoration after receiving authorization from the Board of Public Works to proceed and notifying Concom. Semco mobilized and completed the work within 2 days. The motion is to authorize change order number 1 to contractor 2023-05 to assist the town by cleaning out 600 linear feet of drainage ditch for the amount of $5,135 and to authorize the chairman to sign the change order when the documents are prepared.
Okay, so that's the motion that's before us. Do we have any discussion?
Nope.
I thought that worked pretty good for that owner at 307. So, the motion has been made. Do I have a
Mr.
second?
Chairman,
Oh,
you have a
sorry,
question?
we have Mr. Besson.
Thank you, Joe Pasevich, Wilson Road. Could I have clarification on what the superintendent just stated? Something about some clearing work was done and the water level dropped 25 feet?
0.5.
Say
Talking
again?
about Plymouth Ave, the house that gets flooded because, right, so they cleared out the,
So the water level dropped how much?
0.5
feet.
Where was that measured?
On the
600.
back side of the berm and the back of the abutter's property.
How far off of the road is that?
Oh, roughly about 100 feet or so.
Yeah, I'm sorry, and I originally thought I heard you say it dropped 25 feet.
something like that.
Oh, I wish.
You might have a problem.
That's a flat drainage.
Actually, that point is 0.5 feet below sea level at that spot.
That's significant.
Sure, they're very happy.
Okay, so the motion has been made.
Did you read the motion?
John read the
Yeah.
motion, right?
I read
You
the
read it,
motion.
John.
Yeah.
So I second it?
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Okay, we're on to discussion, the town pier boat pumping into the sewer system.
John, excuse me, can you just go back to number 2 in action items?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, I understand. My bad. Okay, so we have a new septic hauler has submitted an application for a new permit for 2023. The applicant has met the requirements as set forth by the wastewater treatment facility and thus qualifies for permitting by the Board of Public Works. Mark H. Lane of Flowmaster Corporation. The motion is the Board of Public Works votes to approve the new septic hauler permit for Flowmaster for the year 2023 and authorize the chairman to sign the permit as approved. So do we have any discussion? It just seems like it's just a new, or an actual septic hauler, just needs another permit extended. Any questions?
No questions.
Any questions?
Nope.
Okay. The motion is the Board of Public Works votes to approve the new septic hauler permit for Flow Master for the year 2023 and authorize the chairman to sign the permit as approved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
3-0. Okay. Now we jump down to the pumping out. That was something I saw over at the town pier. There's a big sign that says for the boats to pump out their sewage. And but as far as I can tell, it's not metered, or there's no charge, so we're pumping into our sewage from the boats at the town pier. I think I brought that up once before.
There is no meter on, there used to be a tank there.
Yeah.
They used to pump into the tank, and we were able to measure at that point. Now they went over, they eliminated the tank, and they just tie it right into our
Right, I
sewer.
thought so.
And we can put a meter. It's an extensive job, expensive to do it, because you'd have to do a weir to get the meter in. But Green Harbor Marina is also tied in. They have a sewer connection. They paid the fees for the connection, so they're billed based on their water usage. And they offer the free pump out. And I know Clint called DEP and asked about it, and DEP's response was, why wouldn't you want them to dump their boat septic instead of in the ocean?
Well, we do want them to use the sewer system.
Right.
But we charge the water at the Harbor Masters building and then back it up with the sewer, you know.
We could do that. That's something that we'd have to proceed to do.
Yeah, we should do that. So we'll look into that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Okay, any questions, Diane?
No.
Any questions, Bob?
Yeah. So how is reading the meter of the water meter going to pump out?
That's
Measure the pump
That's
out?
just how that's how
No, I
we
get that.
measure our sewer now, is 3 times the use
Yeah.
of water. So
Okay.
we could come
I mean, I
up with
think it's
some
a- I
type
think
of a
we-
metering system.
I don't even want a meter system, I just want it not to be in the harbor. And that's the point. There's a cost to all of us if it goes in the harbor.
Right.
And that's what I don't want. So even if it's free, it actually is a public health and environmental protection. So-
I mean, we can look at, how many boats are moored there and how many actually pump off. I wonder if they have a log. We can check on that.
Yeah,
We can look into it a
We should
little
just
bit.
charge it by the water meter. That would-
Right, we could do that.
Because Green Harbor's doing that.
Right. We could do that, same
Yeah,
thing.
that would make sense. If they don't like it, then let them pay for the meter
Right.
for the sewers.
Definitely.
Yeah.
and I don't have a problem with being free to protect the public health and the environment.
But they're not dumping it, we're not stopping them from using it. We're just
No, I
trying to
just-
meter it, that's all.
I don't want it to be a hindrance that someone does something illegally, but they shouldn't do it.
I don't want the residents paying for a boat to pump out sewers. We're not gonna dump it in the harbor.
Question.
Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
So yeah, I do actually have a question about this. Mr. Reynolds, do you think that it's costing the town a lot, the DPW a lot to process the,
No, and I had asked the wastewater supervisor, if he could even estimate what might be going in there. And he said he'd have to check to see if there was logs of who made
because
it.
you really have no idea.
No,
'cause you-
it
yeah.
would be very difficult other than putting a meter in so that you could track it accurately.
I don't think people would dump their boats into the water,
No. We're not-
rather than,
Well, we would hope they wouldn't.
yeah.
Well, we're not asking them to pay.
Yeah,
No.
it's gonna be charged through the,
We're just trying to make it fair for all the residents that are
We
paying.
could do it as an offset.
And we have a limited number of people, it's like 4,600 people in the wastewater.
Right.
So we're not charging the boat individual, we're trying to make it fair for the residents. Someone had a question out here.
Eric Murphy, Ocean Street. So instead of a meter, how about a flat rate based on the size of the boat? You know, a 50-foot boat is $30 a foot. So you pull up, you pump out, you got the bigger tank.
No, we're not charging the boat.
No, you're not charging the boat.
No.
Or what the meter, I thought the meter was to charge the boat.
The amount of water that the harbor master uses in his water meter
Yeah,
will directly relate to the sewer charge, just like
Yeah.
yours and mine.
same as mine. Whatever I pump out, I got to pump back.
Yeah.
Marina.
I got you.
The marina was paying for it.
Marina paid their fees for the connection from
So the marina's paying for it, not the harbor master.
the Marina pays for the Green Harbor Marina, the harbor master's a separate location.
Okay, two separate
Two
locations.
separate locations.
Correct.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
it's a really interesting subject. I think there are some really severe penalties for discharging into the harbor. So you would hope that would be enough for deterrence. But I think Tommy's got a point where someone needs to look at it more closely as to how the process works. I think a lot of people usually flush their tanks too with fresh water when after they do an emptying, don't they?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'd have to look into that.
But they're paying for that, wouldn't
Do they flush?
they? Well, even if they do, they're gonna pay for the water.
Right, they're paying for the water, right.
So it would be something that the harbor master should build into his fees. I would
Well, it's just like the residents are paying now. You have a water meter, you're in the sewer system, the amount of water you use directly rates the charge for the sewage.
But I'm thinking the boaters ultimately.
The boaters
should
are not
pay-
paying.
They should pay something, and it
No.
should be built into fees.
You're not charging the boaters anything.
Oh,
We're charging
fees and
for the
stuff.
amount of water the harbor master uses directly related to the charge for the sewage, just like you pay and I pay. Nothing to do with the boater.
Well, how does the harbor master pay the bill?
He's charged through the indirects,
Fees.
correct, Tom?
I believe so,
Yeah. Mr. Lynch in the back.
Stephen, 57th
Hey,
Street. So all sewage systems on board vessels operate with salt water, not fresh water. So the freshwater usage has nothing to do with the amount of sewage that they're dumping and that the residents are paying for. Sewage is not cheap, it's an enterprise account. You're supposed to pay for what you do, what you use. And so the marinas should be paying for every bit of sewage they put into that plant that I have to pay for.
Right.
So, and you can't judge it by fresh water, because they're not using fresh water. Boats use salt water in their sewer systems. So it's impossible to tell by fresh water usage.
Or if you're from out of town, and you come from out of town, and you're in town for the day, and you wanna dump your tank, you dump in your tank from Situate into Marshfield's system. Correct.
That's the way, that's the way it is. I mean, what do you want to do? Start charging the boat?
So the marinas need to pay some sort of rate for using it, besides the water they use in their, on land toilets in the buildings and the restaurant. That's a whole other story. It's like everybody else, water usage decides what your sewer bill is. But boats are using salt water, so you can't tell what their usage is.
Well, the
It's
gentleman
clarification.
mentioned, gentleman
What's
mentioned
that?
they clean out the tanks with fresh water. So if it doesn't matter really, if they use salt water, fine. They're not using the fresh water. But they are pumping into our sewage system, and it's based on the amount of water that the harbor master uses, his water meter, and it goes in the indirects.
Yeah, I'm not really worried about the harbor master. The usage of the public one is very rare. It's transient boats. But the marinas is another story. They're using it, all those boats have tanks on board and they're all running with salt water. So we have no idea what our cost is to the resident of Marshfield. I mean, we shouldn't be paying for boats and marinas to use our sewage system. They should be paying for it. Whoever, maybe not the boat owner themselves, but through the cost of what the marina has to pay. So there's gotta be some way of setting a fee, an idea of what it's costing us.
They are paying through the water meter. The cost of the water, or the amount of water they use, is based on the sewer charge, just like you pay.
I understand that, but they're not using fresh water to run their
We're not
systems
talking
on board the
about
vessel.
We're
So
not
it's
talking-
not reflective of how much sewage they're dumping. It could be, maybe they're paying more than they're fishing, I don't know.
We're
But
not-
I'm just saying, it doesn't, water, fresh water usage doesn't reflect what a boat uses to run their sewage tank. Because they're using salt water to flush toilets into the tank.
Question. I have a question.
Sure, Bob.
Are you
Yes,
talking
okay.
commercial, or are you talking pleasure yachts?
So, I'm talking about boats that are tied up in the marina
You mean,
in the summertime, because a lot of those people live in those boats, like during the week, on vacation, on weekends, and they're using those tanks. to, you
so
know,
those are using salt water,
They use salt water to flush the
Flush
toilet, yes.
they're not using their fresh water?
No, they use salt. Those
So when they're
systems run
hooked up to the dock, and they've got the fresh water in there, are they using fresh water or salt water at that point?
So the toilet systems have a sea clock that draws salt water that uses to flush into the tank.
And how big are those tanks normally?
I have no idea, some of them like, I've worked on commuter boats where we had tanks with 1,500 gallons. A small boat like that, I don't know, small boats like 40 footers, I don't know, 30, 40 gallons, I have no
So
idea.
it's not like a lot.
Yeah, I'm just saying that we don't know what the cost and usage is, I'm just saying that. I'm not saying that maybe what they're paying more, I mean, maybe the water bill, 3 times their water bill is costing them more money, I don't know. I'm just saying, we don't know from the water bill, the fresh water bill, what their usage is of the sewer system.
We're not charging the boaters, Steve.
I'm not saying the charge of boats, but the marinas, listen, Green Harbor Marina is owned by Safe Harbors now. They are a multi-billion-dollar, multinational company that owns hundreds of marinas. They don't care about us. Why should a resident of Marshfield pay to subsidize Green Harbor Marina?
They're not.
So, Mr. Chairman, we have a item on here, it says town pier, boats pumping into sewer system. So what is what is the outcome of this discussion?
If we charge the sewer rate based on the amount of water that's used, in the total of the harbor master using, just like the residents do, the amount of water that's used indicates the cost of the sewer bill,
Okay.
just like we all pay. It's nothing to do with flushing the tanks or anything else in the water. If they want to start washing cars down there, go right ahead. It's just going to impact the sewer charge.
So while we're on this, can I just ask Tom a question?
Go ahead.
So, so you know we get charged 3 times our water bill for the sewer bill, but say you're taking a shower or doing the dishes and stuff like that, where there's not solid waste going down the toilet, does that just run off? I mean, that doesn't get treated, right? That's no cost, you just pump that out, or how does that work? Does it all get treated?
It's all treated.
It's
The
all
only thing
treated?
that doesn't get treated is your outside spigot, if you're watering your garden or something.
Yeah.
Anything that goes down the drain is going to the sewer plant.
And so what is that, infrared, how does it get, what treats it? Do we use chemicals, or is it, you know?
We use chemicals.
We don't, yeah.
We
So
have
it's chlorine or
ultraviolet
something?
light and chemicals.
Okay.
It's a aeration process, secondary treatment plant. It goes through a set of weirs,
Uh-huh.
goes through a bio treatment system, and then it goes through finishing components that we've spent a ton of money on. So my point with the discussion was, we're not voting on anything, we're just having a discussion of what it is. We don't have any ferries in Marshfield, so we don't have to worry about big users. I was just looking at the sport fishes that are out there, that people might live on the weekends. And probably, the chairman's probably right, the water meters are probably covering the cost of the sewer that's being used.
I'll do a little more research
Okay.
with the harbor master and find out how many boats and the size, try to get the size of their tanks and determine, you know,
But wouldn't it be easier just to take the water meter reading, just like you do for a resident? Whatever that reading is reflects the sewer charge.
Right, we could do that, but if
But
I
you can do
could,
both.
right, I'll look at
Yeah, okay.
a couple of different things and come back to the board with what I find.
Yeah, I think more information is better than less.
Sure.
Okay. Are you all set?
Yes.
You all set? You all set, Annie?
Yep,
Good, good.
Annie, you having fun yet?
not here, not saying anything.
She's not saying anything.
Okay.
Something you should learn.
No, I'm here to speak my own mind, John.
Oh, my
Oh, stop.
God. I can't handle it, John.
All right?
No one can take it, just I tell it like it is.
Are we still in public comment?
So we're done, we're going to the
They
next
all
one.
get upset.
Next
Joe.
item.
Go ahead, you want,
I'd like to just, because I had to go pick up my daughter down Jordan Osborne. She's doing the internship, so I get to think about, on the way down there, about reducing the trash size to 35 gallons. So this is putting a burden on residents. So right now, you get to put your trash in one container, basically. I don't think I ever go over one container, and there's 6 people in my house. And so it makes things easy to put it out in one container. And to now make me have to buy plastic bags and fill them up and do that also is a burden on us, and, you know, we're paying the bill. And so, and not only that, now you're gonna go to automation on picking up the trash, and so now I'll have a 35-gallon barrel, and I'll probably have to have a couple of little green bags, and so that truck driver in automation is gonna have to stop, send the thing out, pick up the barrel, put it in, move up 2 feet, pick up that green trash bag with the automated dump it again, and then move up again. It's gonna slow his day down. It doesn't seem to make sense. The 1,200 and something average weight per house is really not accurate, because we have so many summer homes that only put trash out for 3 months. So I would guess that the better average would be a couple thousand probably for the year-round resident that puts out trash. And you're just making their life miserable to have to go to a small barrel like that.
But if I may, Mr. Chairman, the barrel size now is supposed to be 35 gallons.
It is?
It is.
Seems like
you know what was passed at town meeting, not to interrupt you?
What's that?
You know what was passed at town meeting? 39 gallons,
39?
wasn't it?
Right.
So we're at 35.
Where did 35, well, it's 39 passed at town meeting.
I don't know if they make a 39 gallon.
No, I'm just saying.
Oh, the tap, that's
We
what's
talked 35,
Yeah.
but the actual vote at town meeting
Was
was
39.
39.
So when you get the money for the plastic bags you sell, the extra green bags, does that get deducted from the fee?
No.
And
So this goes in the retainer, and so now you're making money, right?
No,
So this is gonna be a money-making project for an enterprise.
It's not a money we can't make a profit on it. All right, what we do you want your rates to go up higher? So if we lose that $2 a bag revenue, that goes back on the resident to increase the rate.
I'm
to
not saying
cover the
we're
cost.
gonna lose it, we still get it, we're gonna get the same amount we get now, it's just that if you're gonna lower the, you know what, maybe I don't, not educated on this, maybe my barrel is 35 gallons, and I don't even know it, so maybe I'm totally wrong here, I don't know. Because my barrel is certainly smaller than my recycling barrel, but I don't know if it's half the size. I don't know if that's true. I'll have to go look at it and see what it says on it.
No, but I mean,
But we're still gonna get the money we make from the green bags, because we're already getting it anyway. You're just gonna increase the amount of green bags we're gonna have to sell and make more money.
not necessarily. If people abide by the 35 gallon that we're supposed to have now, they'd still have to buy a bag if they needed to put a
Right, so
trash out.
either way, it's still generated with, you can charge me more than what I'm paying now for you to pick up my trash, or you can make me buy more green bags. And either way, it's probably about the same, but it's making life harder to have to put out more bags, different locations, and have the truck stop 1, 2, 3 times with automation to pick it up. It's gonna slow us day down, it has to, right? Instead of picking up one barrel, now he has to move over, pick up a green bag, stop again, move over, pick up another
Yeah, but
green
that's
bag.
not every single household.
True, I agree, and you know what? I'm gonna go home and measure my barrel, and maybe I'm totally wrong, so we'll see.
Well, I have a question for
Go ahead.
Ed.
Yes.
At the beginning of your presentation, you talked about the current rates and that the rates are rising, and part of this plan is to keep the rates from rising more. Is that correct?
Yes.
Because if we decide not to follow through with this 35 cart, which is the size that people are supposed to be using anyway, the rates are definitely going to go up.
Well, the rates are going up anyway. I
But they're
mean,
going to go up more because,
They could go up more. The
Right.
goal is to try and reduce the waste that's generated and increase the recycling amount.
right,
So if we don't control the volume, which is
Yeah.
the size of the cart, then we have no way to control how much people get rid of, so that everybody has to pay for the person who throws out the most.
right. It's going to just keep going up more and more. This is just one way of containing the rise in the rates,
Yes.
somewhat.
Well, you pay one or the other, you buy more green bags, or you pay for one your feet.
Okay, are we all done? Let's move on. Are we all right? You okay?
Yeah.
So that's just a discussion. Well, now we're on to number 2, forensic audit. That was something that was passed at town meeting. Want to see if we could start moving on that, because in the charter, under the power and duties of the Board of Public Works, the last sentence is our vote of town meeting. So we have to follow any vote of town meeting. It's under the B, powers and duties in general. It's the organization of the board, which we did tonight. It's a 3-member board. We're in charge of the parks and landscape, ground maintenance, all town buildings. And it ends with this, a vote of town meeting. So that was voted overwhelmingly at town meeting. And I know what happened was the town council said it was legal but improper. So we have to see if we can somehow
The
move.
purpose, if I may, town council's opinion was that we didn't have a standard to follow. In 2015, I don't believe we had the current policy in place.
We did not.
And that was, that, we don't have a standard for an accountant to do an audit, because we didn't have a policy in place. So I think what we need to do is to go back to town meeting and ask for that again, with the policy we have now in place. There's our standard to do the audit against.
All right, we can do that. We can do it. We do quite well with having the town try to save some money and find out where the charges, the indirect charges. Indirect charges are just the overhead for the 3 enterprise accounts. They're just separate, and just, we have charges for accounting, we have charges for labor council, we have charges for town council, we have charges for the town administrator. That's $80,000 now. So there's a lot of money that the ratepayers, the residents have to come up with this money. It's a lot, so we want to make sure it's fair. Any comment, Mr. Jones?
Yes, I have comments.
Go ahead.
One is, I don't like the word forensic audit. If you're gonna look at an audit against the enterprise indirects, it's an audit to the indirects. It's not forensic audit. Second is, you have to really define the scope of any audit. What are you really looking for? Tom had said, you really need to have a standard of care, which we have the methodology which we had worked on, that you can actually measure against. And also, dates. There was a discussion in previous board meetings that you only can audit so far back. You can't go back 15 years and say, okay, you did this and did this, especially when there was no standard of care. So 15, that's when we had the forensics audit issue was around 2015. That's why we came up with the methodology, because we didn't have a standard of care to measure against. So those are my comments. So if we want to call it, go back to town meeting and do it the right way, knowing the mistakes we've made, I'm all for that. I think that it is a good idea to audit, to keep people honest, moving forward.
Yeah.
And go from there. So that's where I'm at.
How about you?
Yeah, I have a comment. So forensic accounting, or financial forensics is the specialty practice of accounting that investigates whether firms engage in financial reporting misconduct. So it's the proper term for this audit because it's looking to make sure that everything is being charged properly in the enterprise accounts so that whatever is being taken out is being taken out properly and so forth. So it's the correct term. And then I think that I'm a huge fan of town meeting. And I think that people will definitely want to support this like they did before. And that we should, honor that it was voted in for town meeting, but fix the wording to be applicable to now and whatever changes have been made so that there's a standard, like you said, and it can actually pass town meeting and then be done.
And we've funded this since 2015 also,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
It's been funded every year. We just keep carrying it over.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to do, are you all done, Ms. Jones?
Oh, yeah, I'm not.
We have to do something. Some of the charges we could, I feel, and I think the previous chairman felt that we could go to direct charges on items. These are charges that you can actually come to the exact figure. They shouldn't be indirects, because it's almost like a double dip. If I'm losing you, it's what the town does. They love the indirects. So we could look at directs, charges, some of those charges, fuel and pensions and healthcare. So anyhow, all right, I think we've got information for you, Tom.
Okay.
All right, so, can I, as the chairman, I'd just like to go back to one thing, and I don't want everybody to get upset. And I'm gonna read something that you're telling me is a bylaw. So I'm just gonna go back and read E that we talked about was the bylaw on Section 5, restricted water use, what was voted 2-1 in September of 2022. Anybody on board?
No.
You haven't got it yet?
September 12th, 2022 was not a bylaw. It was it's the water department regulations,
All right.
which is different.
Just tell me what you want to call it, and then I'll address it. What do you want? Is it a bylaw?
What
Is it
you're
a
referring
policy?
to is Section 5
Yeah.
of what was voted on September 12th is the
Is it-
water department's rules and regulations,
Okay.
which is based on
All right.
town meeting's bylaw.
Okay. All right. Just tell me, is it a policy? Or is it, I don't mind whichever you say, because then I'm going to address it.
It's a policy.
Okay. Let me address your policy. Do you agree with that policy?
I do.
Okay. Let me read E to you. This happens under a restricted water use, which is a drought. Has to be a public meeting, has to be advertised in the paper, and the board has to vote that we're in a drought. Let me read E. Automatic manual irrigation systems. The installation of irrigation systems, automatic or manual, is prohibited on town-owned lands and traffic islands. The installation. It doesn't say use.
But how do you use it if you can't install it?
No. It doesn't say the use. So if anybody had an irrigation system, they could use it. The word use is not in there. And it's only on, it's town-owned land and traffic islands. But it's the use of automatic irrigation system should be in there.
So what you're saying, John, is that under E, automatic manual irrigation systems, instead of the word installation, it should be the use of. You want a word change.
No, actually, yeah, we can revote this.
No, we can modify it. You
I
can
said-
modify
I
it
said-
by changing it to use versus installation.
Well,
So basically, if we're in a water restricted zone in the middle of a drought, under E, automatic or manual irrigation, it should state, the use of irrigation systems, automatic or manual, is prohibited on town-owned lands and traffic outlets. It's the use, it's not the installation, because how would you wouldn't be installing something in the middle of the drought anyway. All you need is one word change.
I agree, it has to be used because it doesn't cover the use of water with irrigation during a drought, the way it's written.
that's true, but under the amended, because this mirrors the amended bylaw on 4/24/2017, it actually mimics the whole thing, A, B, C, D, and E. So in 2017, this came before the town meeting, and they passed this, the only way you can change a bylaw. And number E says, automatic irrigation system use. The use of automatic irrigation sprinkler system is prohibited. That's what we should be voting for, and not give any legs to this, because it says it's prohibited on town-owned land and traffic islands. And then we get into town-owned land and traffic islands. That doesn't make sense at all under section 5.
So we want to change installation to use.
No, I don't want to change anything here.
Oh.
I'm just saying that when that was changed, they forgot to put in use. All they put in was traffic islands and town-owned land.
So you can just add
That doesn't exist.
installation and use.
I'm not voting for this. That doesn't exist.
So John,
That doesn't exist.
under E, we could just add the word installation and use of.
Will we strike prohibit on town-owned lands and traffic islands?
No, I think that's good. I think that, I don't have a problem with the town-owned lands of traffic islands. I just think that it should say irrigation and use of the irrigation system.
No. you forgot-
During a drought,
During a drought.
that's it. That's the only thing.
Well, you have that right here under 2017. You already have the whole thing. Why are we coming up with this? We already have this under a drought. It's right here. It's right here. It's amended in 2017. This thing here was just put out against the vets. That's all it was. Don't tell me what it was.
Enough of that.
All right, let's just move on, because we're not voting on that.
All right, we'll accept the minutes.
Wait a minute. You're not the chair here. All right,
No.
understand that. Understand that.
I know, I'm the vice chair, but I have words. I can speak up.
John, can I say one more thing,
Go
please?
ahead.
Steve Lynch, 50 Central Street, so we didn't have public comment on the audit. I'm just, you're talking about a standard? Yeah, who created the standard? Didn't we hire some correct me if I'm wrong, I thought we hired some arbitrator to come in and create the standard,
No.
right? Huh?
No.
We hired consultants. It was a joint venture between the DPW
And
and
In the Board of
and the
Selectmen, right?
select, right?
Yeah, so it was their people that wrote the standard, right?
That's
Yeah,
correct.
so, we have to be area of what the standard is before we decide anything. Because I can guarantee you, they're taking too much money out of the enterprise.
Have you
now, putting
read
it in
the
general fund.
methodology?
What was the dollar figure last
Have you
year?
read the methodology?
No.
Okay.
So what was the dollar figure? I know that when you tell me dollar figures, it doesn't sound right. What was the dollar figure that the Board of Selectmen took out of the enterprise account last year to put into the general fund? Does anybody know what the total figure
About
was?
1.3 mil.
$1.3 million to send out the water bill.
Yep.
And
No, under the tree enterprise.
to send out the water bill and to take care of union work where they have to negotiate contracts, right? They got 1.3 million to do that, yeah. Sure, that's real fair.
No, it's based on a lot of things, and as a methodology is a lot better than it used to be.
Right.
Because
and it was-
before we
and
did
it
a
was- It was
methodology-
bogus before, and it's still bogus now.
Before, in 2015, we had a one-sheet paper that said percentage, with no base, no direct, no understanding of what the item was. The methodology is not perfect, In fact, when we wrote the methodology, because I was part of the team that did it, and I was chair at the time, is that we wanted to establish a standard that could be fluid on an annual basis, so that boards in the future could make a change with the selectmen to tweak it to make it better.
So
Because
for the sake of transparency, I think you should do a line item explanation of how they get $1.3 million from the ratepayers of Marshfield
We
to
do.
put it to the general fund.
We do.
Post it.
It's
I want
a
to see it,
public
I want to see it,
It's a public
Well,
record.
because I don't believe it, that it's accurate.
See, what they're doing with this methodology that was approved by the selectmen.
no, it was a joint venture, John. It wasn't a selectmen, it was a joint venture.
Why don't you stop interrupting me?
Well, when you go off and you make this individuals of that they
you know,
versus me,
I-
the bottom line, John, I lived through it. I know exactly what we're talking about.
I started to make a point, and it just interrupts.
Bob, do you believe that before they were taking too much money out of the
Absolutely.
president? So what makes you possibly think they're not still doing it?
Let me discuss how they do it. They don't use the total town budget. They keep the high schools out of it, which doubles the percentage that the indirects pay. It doubles the percentage. They don't use the high school. They don't use the total town budget. If they used the total town budget, it would be half. Correct, Tom?
Yes.
See that? So that's something that's in the methodology.
I don't disagree with you, John, on that. I don't disagree with you.
You know,
I mean, the issue is the methodology is still good. It's just that the standard base of not having the whole town budget, and this board, including yourself and Dave Carrier and others, all agreed upon it.
I never.
And that's a fight that's we're never gonna win.
Yeah, well, town meeting agreed that there was something up, that's why they wanted an audit, right? There's plenty of insiders at that town meeting that voted for it, let me tell you.
Okay, let's,
So we have a number of months to figure out how it's gonna be proposed differently to answer, any other concerns that
well, we can
there
just.
are, so we don't have to do it tonight.
You're right, no, all right, we'll just move on.
John, before, I got one more last thing to say, and I won't say anything else.
Make it quick, please, will you?
The other thing that I have a problem with the building is, and the rates is, I don't understand why I get charged more per gallon because I use over a certain rate. You can't tell me the cost to give me to pump extra on top of the already, the infrastructure rate, which goes to the whole base. It can't cost more per gallon to pump more water. It must cost less, or at least equal. So why do we have to pay more if you go over, I don't know what the number is, 20,000, 50,000, whatever it is, but then your rate goes up because you use more. It should be at least level, if not less, because it can't cost more to pump more.
Probably
Per gallon, I
But
mean.
it probably
I know it costs more money, but per gallon.
Yeah, Steve, I understand, but there's conservation involved with this. And also, we'll meet if it's just the same rate and it's not higher for higher use, there's a limit. Isn't there a limit of the water that we meet, DEP restrictions for pumping so much? I know there is, pumping so much water.
We
You have a
have
permit.
a permit to
Right.
pump a certain amount of water.
You don't want to exceed that, then
So because you raised my bill, you think I'm gonna tell my kids they can't take a shower tonight?
oh, come on, we can.
Well, really, that's what you're saying there, right?
All right.
I don't care what your limit is, you can pump over them if you have to, right? Right? You're not gonna stop pumping water because you're over the limit.
No, but it gets into the permit, and now we're into more. Listen, we gotta move on here, it's getting late. I understand, Steve. Look, Tom, under your superintendent's report, will you update Servab first, please, if we at least, I said, I
You
don't
wanna-
know your name. You've been sitting here all night listening to this.
I'm Megan.
I
Do you
guess.
want to
Charlie.
accept the minutes first prior to we get there, or?
All right, you wanna do the minutes, sure. Where are we at the minutes? What number of the minutes?
Right under discussion.
I know that, but where are they in there? Well, I already read them, so I have no problem with the minutes. I already read those online.
I think they're the last tab, John.
Okay,
Number 10, I think.
all right. Thanks,
Yeah.
Hillary. Yeah, I read that, April 18th. Are you,
Oh, that's, okay, no, I've got it mixed up, I'm sorry.
okay, so we had the Plymouth Ave drainage. You all set with this?
I'm okay.
Are you all set?
Yes.
Okay, I make a motion, we accept the April 18, 2023 minutes as written.
The second it,
Second, do
Aye.
all in favor? Aye.
Diane can't vote because she wasn't. she
Oh,
was
yes,
on board
that's
at the
right, I
time.
can't. I did
Well,
watch the videos,
you were
but that
hoping.
doesn't count.
Not 2-0, just 2.
Sorry, Bob.
April 24th.
Just try to keep it straight, that's all.
Good call, Bob, good call, buddy. Okay, we have the minutes for April 24th, 2023 at the Marshfield High School. That was just before town meeting. The reason I didn't get there in time, they told me a wrong corridor. So I walked half that building.
Very
before I-
confusing
I-
there,
I
John.
need- almost-
I always go down the wrong one.
I almost needed a wheelchair by the time I was done. Jesus, I walked down that one and all the way down this one. That's a long walk.
A big building.
Whew.
It's built for kids.
I know, you needed roller skates or something. Anyhow, I make a motion, we accept the minutes of April 24th, 2023 as written.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
so that cleans up last towards,
so now we're back. Tom, would you please update Sheriff Ave?
Sheriff Ave, yes, right now, we're working on some drainage issues there. They hope to finish that up this week and then get back on track. We found an issue with a drainage line, about 600 feet. It was pitched in the wrong direction. So that has to be addressed right now. God knows how long it's been in the ground, but
what street, or what street?
this is Surf Ave,
Surf Ave or
from
Surf?
Ocean to Wrexham Road.
It's on Hartford, where
It's in the Hartford Road area right now.
Okay. Where the pitch is, 600 feet is, from what road to what road?
It pitches back towards,
So it's Rexham.
right,
I get that.
but it's supposed to be going the other way.
No, I get that, but from where to where? From
From
what road to what road?
from Hartford back to Ocean.
Okay, so basically it's all backing up, all the way back to Rexham.
Right.
If that's it's causing a restriction.
Right.
I just want to say, we were at Surf in Hartford, and last week it looked like Hurricane Katrina was in our front yard. It was, the water was this high, like almost came to the house.
Right, I mean, that area is below sea level,
Yeah.
and all those homes were built on a marsh that it's all peat. So once we put a shovel in the ground, the water just finds its easiest route to the least restrictive
Yeah.
way, and hopefully addressing this issue right now, we're trying to pump and bypass everything, so I think we'll address the deficiency once we get this pipe fixed, and hopefully it won't create any more issues down there.
We also had an issue with the drainage ditch along Surf Ave years ago.
We still have an issue with that.
I know that, but we corrected that because previous DPWs in the late 80s, 70s and 80s actually dug the ditch deeper, which caused a bigger problem. So we ended up, through engineering, raised it and pitched it, because there's not much flow down through there anyway, but it raised it, pitched it, so it actually goes towards Bass Creek, and if it doesn't get to Bass Creek, it's almost, that whole section is flat.
Yeah,
It's been flat for years.
Should I ask for discussion now or later?
I'm just bringing it up, John.
It's not a well, Tom. It's just the way it is.
I know.
It
You
is.
know, it goes through the chair. I'll ask for discussion. We'll go for that.
No, I'm okay.
You know, that's how it works. So I was gonna ask on Mayflower, it's always flooded, it's a certain part of Mayflower. I asked this before when that was started on SURF, if they were gonna address that, and Rod told me they were. Do you know anything about that? At the end of Mayflower, where it comes in.
I know what you're talking about,
Yeah.
the intersection of Mayflower and Country Way.
No, Mayflower and SURF. Mayflower and Country Way is an altogether different problem. At the end of Mayflower, where it goes down to SURF.
That's, this will all be addressed with the drainage
Okay,
repaired.
all right, I understand. That's what I was gonna ask.
Once the drainage is, all that drainage down there has to be totally replaced.
Correct.
The corrugated metal pipe, there's no bottoms left in it. So once the new RCP is in there, then it should alleviate a lot of the flooding problems
Okay,
down there.
all right, that's what I'm gonna ask. Any discussion, Ms. Jordan?
No questions.
No question.
Can I just ask a question?
Yeah, sure you can, go right ahead.
It sounds like a very big job to change the pitch of a huge pipe to a different direction. Is this gonna extend like all through the summer?
This project's probably gonna go to at least the end of July.
Okay.
Pretty much that's the timeframe.
I didn't know if this issue extended it any
No,
further.
this has set us back maybe a couple of days, maybe a week or so. One of the issues we had, that we were hoping that this project would be completed by Memorial Day. But because of the gas issues we had out there and the delay in getting the gas done, that has set us back. So we were hoping to be out of there before Memorial Day, so it wouldn't impact the summer season. But best plans don't always go the way you want them, so. But we're hoping by the end of July, we should be out of there.
No. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're
You all
welcome.
set? Any questions, Carol? You all set? You all set, man? Oh, okay. Any questions? Okay, so, Tom, we can just move to the Plymouth Ave pump station update.
Yeah, Plymouth Ave Pump Station, we're in the final design, should be
Thanks for your
completed by the
patience.
middle of May. And we're looking at a mid-June bid date to get this out on the street.
That'd be great.
Hopefully with the start sometime in the fall, September, with the, put a shovel in the ground.
That's good. Thank you.
Seawalls, we're about 3 weeks from completion. They had to change some of the hours around a little bit because of the tides. And they just so happened to be renting a home right there in front of where they're working,
Oh, at the very end?
at the end. So
Yeah.
what they did was, they were working hours late at night trying to get around the tides. So they've done a pretty good job. We're pretty close to completing that one there. And then the paving, as I mentioned earlier, I've got some quotes for the paving. Currently, we have a moratorium on paving side streets. It's, the board voted this prior to me coming here as the superintendent. And that was due to the fact that the town doesn't give a lot of money in support of the roads. So we weren't, the board's moratorium was, they wouldn't accept any more roadways, and they wouldn't pave the side streets, the dead ends, until the town started to contribute more money towards roads. Right now, we got 170,000 from the special. We get 751,000 from Chapter 90, but Chapter 90 hasn't been released yet. They haven't even formed the Concom committee to discuss the two different bills between the Senate and the House. So the longer that's delayed, the longer you get an appropriation bill passed, which then they can release the money. So we got a letter in April saying that we're getting the money, but we don't know when we're gonna get it. And the construction season, we're in the construction season now. So we're behind the 8 ball. Once we get money released, we're fortunate that we're in the queue. And that was one of the things on voting this paving contract tonight, They've told us that they'll spend that money for us before we lose it. So, but the Chapter 90 money we can carry over, but it's, I mean, we're looking at close to $1 million in paving that we need to do. And that's only Band-Aid, really.
I have a question, Tom. What was on Central Ave? This morning I drove down early after hockey. I was just, the lobster guys, you know, were out. They're okay today, so it's just going down there. But I turned on Central. Steve, no, they're right in front, right there. They were paving something. Do you know?
We did the gas line to my uncle's house, and the gas company had cut up a little
Yeah,
square.
Just a square.
Yeah, it was quite an operation. I mean, when I went by,
Okay, square.
I couldn't
Yeah.
Yeah,
really
so they were
see it.
just bringing it up, when the gas company did it, it was like that far below the street level, so they were just bringing it up level to the street.
Yeah, all right, I was just curious.
I think they infrared that and then put mix down and to lift it.
They had the propane,
Big box.
yeah, the box of propane gas, heated it up,
And
melted
then
it,
they add mix to it to get it
and
back.
then they put some on top.
All right, so is that it, Tom? I'm
That's
sorry.
it.
Okay, so next meeting's May 22nd. We're going to have this butler here and other things that we pushed off. So I make a motion that we adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
John, I instructed you to sign.